It's the holiday season, so hippity hop and hoppity hip, and don't forget to wear your best strip. Yo, 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 Merry Christmas! We have a special holiday treat for the HHMC listeners and viewers.
Bring it, come on.
Welcome to Hip Hop Movie Club. This is a show for Gen X hip hop fans who want to relive the glory days and reconsider classic and modern hip hop films from a current day perspective. Together, we'll explore some of the larger societal issues raised in these films. Whether you have seen or not seen Dashing Through the Snow before, we'll help you decide if you should take the time to watch it now. Either way, you'll be a smarter hip hop fan by the end of this episode. In the next 30 minutes or so, you'll get all this and more. We are three old heads who put their old heads together to vibe on these films for you. I'm Dino Wright, podcaster, filmmaker, longtime hip-hop fan, and the most recent hip-hop show I went to was The Far Side a few weeks ago in Philly.
I'm JB, 80s and 90s nostalgia junkie, longtime hip-hop fan, and I'm somewhat internationally known, but not really known to rock a microphone.
I'm Boogie, a DJ, a longtime hip-hop fan, and I ain't no joke. I used to let the mic smoke, now I slam it when I'm done to make sure it's broke.
Yay, yay. In this episode, we'll answer the question, is Dashing Through the Snow ludicrously good or just aight?
Dashing Through the Snow is a 2023 Christmas comedy starring Christopher Ludacris Bridges and Lil Rel Howery. Ludacris plays the role of Eddie, a jaded social worker, apathetic about Christmas as he was traumatized as a child by a Christmas Eve mishap. A magical North Pole visitor and a precocious and delightful daughter spread joy, but can they convert him into a true believer in Santa Claus? All right. This is a fun new take on a holiday movie with Luda. How would you guys rate Ludacris's performance? And, you know, he's no rookie in the movie industry, but how do you do in this film? What do you think, Boogie?
No, I think it was good. I mean, he definitely does come across as a good dude. He does come across as a guy that you're rooting for. And in the context of the film, he's somewhat jaded in his outlook on the holidays. And you kind of want him to go along with it because Lil Rel as Nicholas Sinterklaas and his daughter Charlotte, you know, they're kind of happy and bubbly, and he's kind of like playing Mr. Grump. She actually referred to him as Grumpus at one point on the phone call.
He did.
So yeah, he's very grumpy. So you kind of want him to get with the program. And I think that his portrayal of how he was supposedly feeling at that time and trying to get him to, he was resisting and trying to resist. I think that was really good. I definitely enjoyed their interactions between him and Lil Rel. And I think that there were some points in the film that tugged at my emotional heartstrings a little bit too. So, I mean, hats off to Ludacris. I think he knocked this one out the ballpark.
Yeah, I agree. He was really good. He's so likable, and man, he, like you said, tugging on the heartstrings. He had to be emotional at the beginning when he was called into that crisis, and he helped that troubled man Luther down from the tower. He was just a seasoned pro at that. He was a natural, and he's a good father to his daughter, and he's very relatable to the common person. Dinah Wright, what are your thoughts on Luda's performance here?
I enjoyed it. It wasn't completely consistent the whole way through for me, but especially in the beginning when he talks down the guy from Heights, it was really good then. It was a little uneven for me, but I really enjoyed it. Like I'll watch Ludacris and anything. We'll get into that a little more later, but I did enjoy him.
Yeah. I think just to backtrack to that crisis situation, that scene was very, it was emotional for me because of that interaction, because especially now we see all these different instances of, you know, people that have mental issues or breakdowns or whatever, and police are called into the scene, and instead of the situation being de-escalated, it escalates and somebody ends up getting harmed or sometimes killed in those situations. So I think that it was good that they showed in this scene how the the situation should be handled. Okay, the police were called, they were on the scene, but they called in a specialist, somebody who's trained to deal with those type of situations to ease the situation. And I definitely like that interaction. It kind of got me a little misty eyed a little bit.
I mean, you want the best person for the job
Right.
in that situation. Someone like him was definitely it.
Yeah, definitely. He injected some humor in the situation, and he lightened the mood, and he really hit home with Luther. So that was really great. Got him to that shelter. Which songs caught your attention in the film? There are a couple hip hop tracks in there, in addition to some of the holiday tracks scattered throughout. What were the ones that caught your eye, Boogie?
Yeah, I had a
Or
nice
your
little
ear?
list.
Yeah.
I was jotting down some songs. So I'll start off with the hip hop ones. There was a Party Up, Up in Here, classic DMX track,
Oh yeah.
which actually played. Eddie was playing in the car right after his intervention with Luther on his way home. He had that on because he was tired of the holiday tracks that were playing previously to go in there. Let me see. There was What You Want for Christmas by the Quad City DJs.
Yes. So good.
Yes. It
What
played
you want for
while Nick
Christmas?
was delivering to the crooked congressman's house. There's the classic, Christmas in Hollis, the Run DMC Christmas classic, as the team of Nick, not Nick, Eddie, Charlotte, and that family I forgot the name of that family that was tracking
The
Santa
Truckles.
Claus. Yes.
We call the Santa Seekers. Yeah, either way.
Santa Seekers, as they were going to rescue Nick, that was playing. Mama Said Knock You Out.
Yes.
That was really good.
When the reindeers came in to protect old Nick. They were trained to protect it. They definitely delivered. And prior to that, as the reindeer were robbed, it's not necessarily a hip hop track, but it's a endeared theme. As the Rocky theme was playing as we were approaching, and I was like, "Oh shoot, it's on now!"
That's right.
Yeah,
that was a fun little tidbit. Yeah.
There's a couple of other Christmas tracks. There was Run Run Rudolph I really liked. 12 Days of Christmas and Santa You're All Right. I played at the end credits. There's a couple, but overall it was a good soundtrack. It was definitely energetic.
Yeah, it's Quad City DJ is known most famously for "Come on, ride the train and ride it."
that Miami bass sound right there.
Yep.
That brings us back to our early days at college, I guess, right? That must have been early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you can work in the Quad City DJs is a good time.
Absolutely.
What you want for Christmas?
I love all the hip hop tracks were on point. Like I loved it. I was like, yeah, this is great. And it's funny because we'll listen in the car at this time, Christmas songs all the time. And I do need a break every once in a while. Like, all right, I need like 30-minute hip hop, just to like break it up and then go back and forth. So I could relate to Eddie Ludacris in there.
There is one song that comes on in the car in the beginning called Santa Got Caught in the Chimney.
Yes.
This is a very deep cut by the Paulette sisters. It's now you would consider it a little bit fat shaming, but just from a music standpoint, it's a really rocking song. I enjoy it a lot, and it's kind of funny. Like he got stuck in a chimney, which happens in the movie.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
there's a funny kind of connection there. But Google that one. It's a fun little romp, music wise. Good bass line, all that kind of stuff.
It can't be as cancelable as like Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Yeah.
If you look back at that one, it's like, all right, the lady died, and they're dying, they're celebrating. We can at least have her gifts. Play that back.
Yeah, it's a little rough now.
It's a little rough. They're just drinking around her demise. That's funny. But let's talk a little bit more about the movie. I think it was a lot of fun. It moved quickly. It was entertaining, and I think Lil Rel and Ludacris had a really fun dynamic together. And Oscar from The Office was a good villain. Like he's goofy.
Yes.
Yeah. I just call him Oscar from The Office. Oscar Nunez, who played the role of Oscar in the sitcom The Office. What are your other thoughts about the movie, guys? In
No,
general.
I think it was a cute film. I definitely enjoyed it. The storyline was funny because I mean you wanted, like I said, you wanted to root for Eddie's character throughout the movie because I don't want to give it away, but he had a really rough experience that kind of turned him off from Christmas, and he held on to that for a long time. And even though everyone around him was kind of getting with the program and enjoying it, and it seemed like his distaste for Christmas actually ruined his marriage. I think toward the end of the movie, he realized that that's kind of what it was, as he had started to believe that Nick actually was Santa Claus, and he actually wanted to help. He actually found what he was missing in himself and was able to rekindle his relationship. So, I mean, it's a good movie. I think that it made me feel good. It was a good feel good movie.
Yeah, I agree. How about you, Donna? Right?
Yeah, it was fun and cute. Was it a Citizen Kane? No, but these kinds of movies I have different expectations for, and it certainly entertained me. I think Lil Rel Howery is great. You guys saw Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds?
Yes.
Yes.
He plays his best friend, the
Yes.
other security guard. He's great in that movie too. So I was great. I was glad to get like a whole movie with him because he's just that kind of like chaotic good, really fun, and he's had all the good lines too.
He's along the stylings of a Kevin Hart. He's got the gift of gab,
Yeah,
and like
definitely.
he
Yep.
has your head spinning, and he has you
Yeah.
laughing the whole time. So yeah, he was great. He had
You
a
know,
bunch of nicknames for himself, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
exactly.
I'm not even like, not to give it away, but he not to give it away to the listeners because I want you guys to check this out. But he rattles off a few unknown facts about Santa Claus, and they're pretty hilarious.
Yeah,
Just think cinnamon.
yeah. That I thought that was a funny touch. That was funny. Yeah.
Oh
So
man.
you know what's funny? Thinking of it's hard sometimes to separate Ludacris from the actor. Like I almost at one point thought that Lil Rel's character Santa Claus was gonna like say, "Hey, you have some naughty lyrics in some of your songs," you know, like
Yeah,
Oh,
like
there would
move
have been a
me, get out
fourth
the
wall
way.
breaking.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know that's funny. They did, you know what they did have Ludacris, but he caught the line where he said, "That's ludicrous." At one
Yes.
point, I was like, "Ah, there you go."
there you
Yeah.
go.
But if only Santa Claus knew the lyrics to like "What's Your Fantasy" and many many others. Hose in different area codes.
I was almost shocked he wasn't driving an Escalade in this movie.
Right,
I
right,
mean,
yeah,
I guess a social worker doesn't make that much
Right.
yeah,
living in Atlanta.
He had a nice little, not even a full size SUV. It was a little
yeah.
tiny thing. I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
No,
no
but
20-inch rims.
it's what you got in that bag. He should have said that to Santa. What you got?
But you got
The
in that
roll
bag.
out.
Wink,
Yeah,
wink.
yeah. Oh man, what you got
Uh,
in that bag? A couple of. But no, it's funny. But I've seen Ludacris post things. I think like with his actual with his actual daughter driving around, and it's some funny interactions like in real life if you follow him on Instagram. That's funny. So yeah, so we enjoyed it. But do you think it will hold up as an annual holiday film? Do you think this is one that people will start watching on an annual basis? What do you guys think?
hmm. I think it has the potential just because it's got that cute factor and that little rail and touch where he's rattling off those little funny tidbits about Santa, and I think it has the potential to be an annual film. I don't know if it will or not, but I think the potential is definitely there.
Right, right.
I agree. I think it depends really on more Lil Rel's career, how it progresses,
Mhm.
because people go back to and watch it
Right.
if they get into him, they'll get into this movie, and I think that's potential also.
Yeah, same thing here. It's like I don't not sure it'll be an annual one, but I would recommend it to a lot of folks. I've been already telling some people about it. But I mean, I thought the storyline very similar to the Santa Claus with Tim Allen, and that ended up having a few sequels because it was similar in that Tim Allen's character, was a real life Santa Claus. And there was the family dynamic where he was divorced and a non-believer,
Oh
but
yeah.
he actually became Santa Claus. So I was like, they kind of use a little bit of that formula, but I'd rather watch this one because it's fresher. I've seen that one dozens of times, and it kind of holds up. But like I'm at this point kind of getting a little bit tired of that and that series. So I'm good with watching this a few more times and see kind of how it holds up.
Hmm.
But I think you're right. I think the star power is something that would carry it because Tim Allen was already known from like Home Improvement.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure the timeline how it sits with like Woody from Toy Story, but he's a big household name, and so he kind of carries that film. It's like, oh, let's watch this. This Tim Allen's in here.
Mhm.
He's Santa Claus. And
Right.
Yeah.
then they brought in Martin Short for one of the sequels and stuff. So it's
Mhm.
like Lil Rel and Ludacris could help, maybe carry this because it has a great storyline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot here in this universe to make a sequel out of or
Mhm.
multiple sequels out of. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
this could be one of many.
yeah. Maybe you see the
Absolutely.
progression of their relationship reconciling, and maybe they have another child or something, and you see more hijinks ensue.
Mhm.
So let's look a little bit more about Ludacris's career. His biggest contribution to the movie industry or scene is the Fast and the Furious franchise. How are you guys into the Fast and Furious franchise? There's over 10 now, at least 10 now, because I saw the X, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Ludacris is a big part of that.
Yeah. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I watch all of them. And I have no idea why, because I know that they're totally unbelievable. But I'm an action junkie, so it's like watching a live action video game. I'm absolutely
Believe it
hooked.
or not, I have not seen any of them, so I have to start from the beginning and go through.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen bits and pieces here and there, but I'm not super into it. Not that I have anything against it, but I never went to the theater to see any. I think my son saw one or two of them, but they're a good time. Vin Diesel and
I'm
Ludacris
sure
and
I'll
cast
enjoy
character.
it
Yeah,
if I went to go like buckle down and go through them
yeah.
all. And who's
Yeah.
not a fan of Vin Diesel? I mean,
Yeah.
See, that's what they need to do. They need to put Vin Diesel in a sequel because it's all about family.
yes, let's do
Family.
it. Let's do it. Santa driving around in a.
Oh man.
In Fast and Furious, we're a hip hop podcast. It's always going to be intertwined with hip hop because the tragedy that happened with Paul Walker, and
Yeah.
then there was that top of the chart song "See You Again" by Wiz Khalifa
Right.
featuring Charlie Puth.
Mhm.
That's a great song, and like it's really emotional
Absolutely.
when you hear it because you know that it's a tribute to Paul Walker who tragically died ironically in an auto accident. So yeah, that series to me is kind of like has some deep connection with hip hop. All right, so let's have a little more fun here. What's some of your favorite holiday movies that you put on and watch? And actually, just before the show, we had one. We had one on. I was keeping an eye on it with my daughter. What do you guys have as your list of like top 5 to 10 holiday movies each year? Boogie,
Yeah.
you want
So
to kick us off?
I'm a
Yeah.
fan of some of the classics. I'm a fan of March of the Wooden Soldiers. I watched it on Thanksgiving. I watch it every Thanksgiving, and I watch it a few times in between Christmas, and I watch it a couple times on Christmas. I love that movie. Classic. Laurel and Hardy. That one of my other favorites is Miracle on 34th Street. I don't know why I got hooked on it, and I
Mm-hmm.
just watch it.
I mean, it's a classic.
Yeah, It's a Wonderful Life. It's probably one of my all-time
Yep.
classic movies,
Watch that
favorite
on
movies.
Thanksgiving.
And then there's a couple of the newer ones. Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love that movie. Trying to get Turbo Man.
I was gonna say Turbo Man. Yeah.
Turbo Man.
Uh huh.
And then my other one of my other favorites, Home Alone.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go wrong with that. This one is always up for debate, but it's definitely a holiday movie because it takes place at a holiday party. Die Hard.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh yeah, no doubt,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
no argument. Of course.
then one of the new ones that just came out a couple years ago, Jingle Jangle.
Yes.
That definitely moved up into one of my instant classics, and I watched that. You know that so there's a few others that I watch, but those are probably the main ones that I'll watch repeatedly during the season.
Nakatomi Plaza. That's the.
Oh yeah, Jingle Jangle. Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, I saw that a couple years ago. Yep.
Really good song. Everything's Possible is a great song. Wow.
Yes.
Really good.
Wasn't that Forrest Whitaker was like a star of that, right? I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw it when it
Forrest
came out a
Whitaker.
couple years ago.
He plays a toy maker. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mr.
Dino
Jangle.
Yeah. What were some of your favorite holiday movies?
For me, yeah, Die Hard for sure. This one has a sentimental value. It's my wife's favorite movie. It's called Desk Set. It's a Spencer Tracy, Katharine Hepburn movie. Also takes place during the holidays. It's the movie that I used to propose to her. So there's a whole story there.
Nice.
I've probably seen While You Were Sleeping with Sandra Bullock like, I don't know, a zillion times just for like no reason. Like it's always on or something during the holidays. And so that's one I happen to like a lot. Of course, It's a Wonderful Life is a good one, and just watched that on Thanksgiving, and that was it was fun to watch that, having seen all these movies for all that we watch too. And of course, A Christmas Story.
Yes.
Oh yes.
A Christmas Eve tradition of mine is to wrap my wife's gifts and watch that, like, because it's on a loop.
Yep.
on cable.
Yep.
I missed that layup.
Yeah.
That was a layup right there. Christmas Story.
It's a major award.
We actually went to Cleveland in 2016 on a whim because we were into running 5Ks and they were hosting a 5K, and it was the Christmas Story 5K. I have a medal. I can go grab it for 1 second because it's really cool. Hold on 1 sec.
Yeah, I remember when they did that.
I forgot about that. That's really fun. You have it handy.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
I have them all hanging up on the thing. So this is by far my most prized medal. There's a bit of a glare, but
look at that.
There we go.
yeah, and it says I can't put my arms down. So when
The running
That's
lamps.
amazing.
when yeah, and there's lamps, and the coolest thing about this race is people are all dressed up. People were dressed up like the leg lamp and running this 5K race. You had people in the pink bunny pajamas running.
Oh, nice.
You had people dressed up as a can of Ovaltine. They actually. So this was in early December in Cleveland,
brilliant.
and they were serving Ovaltine, like either cold or hot, like kind of like a hot chocolate. So it was perfect. So yeah, we had a good time with that.
Man, I haven't had Ovaltine in a long time.
Yeah, so we
Ovaltine, please sponsor our podcast.
but it's cool is that you got to go in the house where they filmed, their actual living room and the kitchen where the Bumpus dogs go.
I need to do that. I need to get back to Cleveland and do that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But sorry to interrupt.
That's great. That's
cool.
Yeah. We enjoyed it.
Let's hear yours.
All right. So as you know, I'm just a big comedy goofball guy. So I was going to say Christmas Story because of the comedic value. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Love, Clark W. Griswold and his hijinks. I mean, we quote that all the time. Todd and Margot and all that stuff.
Classic.
And Elf. Elf has become a one we watch every year.
Another great
Will Ferrell, Buddy the Elf.
Watch that on Thanksgiving as well.
I have an Elf ugly sweater.
Santa, I know it.
I have Elf socks.
So, I mean, I love the original Grinch cartoon, too, that came out, years ago, Dr. Seuss. But then I do like the Jim Carrey version as well.
I never saw it.
Oh, I recommend it.
Yeah, my son loves it.
Ron Howard directed it.
Right. Yes.
And Jim Carrey's really good at it. I mean, and Jeffrey Tambor's in it, and it's really well done, I think. I like that version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Now, they did another animated one a few years ago. I wasn't too fond of that one. And having the kids too, Boogie, I don't know if your son is into Polar Express also.
Yes.
So Polar Express, I mean, there's some great songs in there, and the animation is nice, and Tom Hanks plays like every single character. and that became like an instant classic on his star power and the way they did that. Just like Boogie, Home Alone. That was one I was just watching that prior to this. They had Home Alone 1, and then the sequel came on, Lost in New York. Just one like slightly under the radar ones. Christmas with the Cranks we like because I read the book by John Grisham called Skipping Christmas. It was a fun little novel that he did, and then they converted it to a movie where it's Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis, and it's about they were going to skip Christmas because they were all fed up with it, but then their daughter was coming home from college, and they want to do it big up, so it's pretty entertaining as well. So that's kind of my list. It's mostly comedies. I do have an appreciation for the classics too, like Miracle on 34th Street and It's a Wonderful Life. In addition to Die Hard, which I like as well. If you remember, Gremlins was also set around Christmas time. Rewatching that not too long ago, and I'm like, oh, that is kind of Christmas.
Yeah,
as
definitely
well.
is.
Yeah, so
we can't get out of here without mentioning Charlie Brown Christmas.
Of course,
which is another one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I like all the Charlie Brown specials. The Thanksgiving one.
Yeah, they're all great.
They're great. The Great Pumpkin. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Have any of you seen Four Christmases?
Oh, did I see that?
Vince Vaughn and what's her name?
I can't recall it. Like
Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon.
Yep.
It was pretty funny. If you get a chance, check that one out. I just thought it just popped into my head. I'm like, wait a minute, I like that one.
I have to see if I watched it because it sounds familiar. I feel like I have seen it, like by accident.
That's the same with me. Like I feel like I know elements of it, but I can't like quote it, and I don't really know the whole storyline off the top of my head. But also, there's one that's pretty polarizing that some people love and some people don't. Is Love Actually?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It became problematic once you think about what happened in the movie.
I don't really know I don't know it that well, but I just want to.
Yeah, parts of it are good. There are some problematic parts if you reconsider, how we've progressed since then.
Okay.
But
yeah. Right.
I mentioned this in our Into Deep episode, but Last Holiday with Queen Latifah and LL Cool J, very cute.
Yes.
Another one of my wife's favorites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that movie.
Good movie there. Yeah.
I watched that movie a few times over probably the last couple months. It just kept coming on. I'm like, I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
We have it on DVD, so
nice.
Nice.
That gets a lot of heavy rotation.
Mm-hmm. Remember last year around this time we did the Hip Hop Nutcracker.
Yes.
I wonder if that's still out there. Was that a Disney Plus thing? I don't remember.
I think it was Disney Plus.
Yeah, but that's something worth rewatching too. That was good.
It was really good.
Yeah. Great dancing.
I know they're going to be doing the live one down at the NJ Pack. Because I know when I went to see Curtis Blow, one of his dancers was the main character, played the main character in it, and they were kind of talking about it, and they said, "Yeah, we'll be back this year." So I'm like, maybe I can see if I can snag a ticket or two, check it out.
Two more. Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Yes.
So funny.
Yes.
So funny.
I was just talking about that, and Bobcat Goldthwait goes postal.
Yes.
Yes.
And Lee Majors.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And the other one is Albert Finney's version of Christmas Carol. It's also very good.
Yes.
Oh, so Christmas Carol, that's a great one. Yeah, with Ebenezer Scrooge. That is the classic. But also there's an animated version that Disney put out. And also Jim Carrey plays Scrooge. And that's very well done too. Yeah, the animated version. The animation's pretty neat. And it's at least 10 years old, I would think. Around that time frame. But I like that version also. My kids really enjoyed that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Tiny Tim always steals the show. Little Tiny Tim. Yeah. Yeah, there's so many. Then there's those shows, the specials, like they come out. The Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Frosty the Snowman,
Right.
the Year
Mike
Without
and
a Santa
Bess ones.
Claus, with the Snow Miser, Heat Miser, all those.
Yeah.
Yes.
Claymation.
Yes.
All those guys.
Good land misfit toys.
Yeah. Toys.
You guys, Emmett Otter Jug Band fans?
As a kid.
Yes. Otter Jug Band Christmas. Yes. Look at the birds in the trees. There are no birds. We're a jug band. Oh man, yes.
Do you remember one that's maybe embarrassing to Keanu Reeves, but he's got no shame probably. And Drew Barrymore. Remember Babes in Toyland?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I remember the beginning. They're
I don't
singing
think
in
I
this.
saw that one.
There's a blizzard. They're singing a song about the town of Cincinnati, and it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really weird. It goes off in different tangents. Pat Morita is in it, and
Okay.
it's a wild, weird thing. But it just jogged my memory. Not one that's easily watchable. You're like, well, what's going on here? But to see those stars as youngsters, it's kind of like, oh my god, I can't believe.
Yeah.
That's where they kind of got their start.
And we can't forget the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, nice.
You stop to think about how many Christmas movies there are. There's a zillion of them.
Yeah.
It just keeps going and going.
It's definitely a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you like Hallmark movies, there's another zillion of those.
That's right.
Oh man, they make so many of them. They put them out quick too, and they put them out all year round.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a formula. They have the same formula. Everybody jokes about the same.
Yeah. Formula is definitely the same.
It's like someone has a loss and stuff. It's kind of like the Disney formula. It's like
somebody's traveling to the big city, ends up in a small town.
Yeah.
During the holidays.
Yeah.
Yep. Why does everything happen in Vermont? Everything's in Vermont. I have a Christmas card from last year, and it's a Hallmark movie title generator.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's great. Nice. All right. I think that's a wrap on Dashing Through the Snow. Let's rate this movie and our now very famous rating system. Boogie, for Dashing Through the Snow, will you bring that funky flick back?
Bring that funky flick back?
Or leave it in the vault?
Bring that funky flick back.
Right on. Right?
I'll bring this funky flick back.
And I will do the same. Bring this funky flick back. Let's keep it going.
All right.
Yes.
Hip Hop Movie Club is produced by your HHMCs, JB, Boogie, and Dino Wright. Theme music by Boogie. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Hip Hop Movie Club. On the next episode of the Hip Hop Movie Club podcast, your HHMCs will review Menace to Society. Subscribe now in your favorite podcast app and you won't miss it. Shout out to you listeners. Thanks for tuning in.
And remember, don't hate, regulate. I was holding that one. Oh man, I can't believe I didn't do that one yet. It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. Orange, he was on the streets trying to consume. Oh man.